everybody. Welcome to the Mandcave. It's the only podcast hosted by two best friends with nothing in common except their first names. I'm Mandy Fabian.
And I'm Mandy Kaplan. And each week we test the limits of our friendship by arguing and disagreeing about nearly everything, including
almost everything, yeah.
Music, books, movies, Oscars, stand-up comedy, and all of Mandy's dumb ideas. Grab a couch. Let's get to it.
Wait a minute, cut this shit.
Still cannot believe you did not like the near perfect Oscars. We won't go into it, but I still can't believe it. All right. I want to discuss something with you.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Because I listened to the podcast Dead Eyes.
Okay.
Finally, after all this time, it was like
Yes.
it started like back in the pandemic, right?
Right.
And I think I had started listening to it and I was like, oh, it's cute. I'll definitely go back to it. But then I just never did.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we had Rory O'Malley on the show, one of the things he was maybe going to have us talk about was Dead Eyes. So I was like, oh, you know what? I should circle back. And I am obsessed. I love it. I love it. I love it.
It doesn't grab me. I've never done it.
Did you go? How far into it did you go?
I never listened. I know what it is, and I was like, meh, I don't want to hear it.
Oh, well, it's kind of this really cool, to me, meditation on failure, like, but not in a sad way or even in an earnest way. He is literally he got fired from doing Band of Brothers. He was hired and then fired because Tom Hanks said he had dead eyes. Information he never should have had as an actor. And he has all these actors come on and talk about times when they were fired from jobs or they thought they were cut from a movie because they weren't any good. And then inevitably someone who did that movie is listening to it and they come on the podcast and say, no, that's not why we cut him from the movie. It was just a bloody butt. So it's a really fascinating kind of objective interesting meditation on like this one thing that happened in this guy's life that he's like, I don't know, have I really let go of it? What happened exactly? I think it's very well done. And
well, yeah, people really liked it. It never appealed to me.
there's not enough dead bodies in it. There's no murders being solved.
Yeah. What's the point?
What's the point? There's no pregnant women who get abducted or, you're right.
Oh, no, I really am not going to listen now.
But there is a mystery. He poses it like a mystery. He's trying to solve the mystery of like, well, what exactly happened? What was it like on that set? What would have been like if I'd gotten it? Which is kind of hilarious that it's just about this one dumb little nothing part in Band of Brothers. Very funny.
You're pronouncing the name of that wrong. It's Mand of Brothers.
Oh,
boom. Boom.
Dang it. She still got it, folks. She still got it.
I have breaking news that no one gives a shit about.
Hell yeah, bring it.
I took the which sitcom character are you quiz again, and I answered totally differently. And I got Rachel Green.
Who's that?
No. Last week you said Friends was one of your favorite shows.
Oh, I didn't know her last name was Green. If the Green threw me. Who knows Rachel's last name?
Everyone on planet Earth.
Oh, I guess I don't remember everything. I did. Right. To me, she's just Rachel. In fact, her first name is actually Ross And.
Oh, yeah, that could be. Yeah. So I gamed the system. Not everybody is a Dorothy Zbornak. I was able to get Rachel Green.
Okay.
But it took effort. It just took lies. So
interesting.
Maybe you and I really are Dorothy Zbornaks.
I guess. I
want to be a Blanche.
Well, I had to mourn it a while ago. You know this. It was a breakdown in my life that, I had to finally realize I wasn't going to be Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, even today, it's hard for me to say there's no hope. It's not going to happen. She's already being Jennifer Aniston.
Right.
But that's the character. I mean, that's a real person. I'm it's okay. I'm okay not being Rachel.
If you ingest nothing but vital proteins and smart water, you could get more like her.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Well, I'm on my way.
Perfect.
I'm going to have to be because I don't even know what vital proteins are.
Oh, she's shilling all the stuff.
She is. She's doing this is a healthy brand lifestyle and you too can be Jennifer Aniston.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why didn't anybody tell me this earlier? I could have saved myself a lot of headache.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. Well, thank you for doing that. Thank you for the follow-up. I appreciate that. I have not watched the Chelsea Handler special yet, but I am definitely going to because I want to do the little search, the little search for the story that you...
Yeah.
And that by next week, I will have watched it.
Perfect.
And I will, or by the next time I'm here. Because it might not be me.
It might not.
I might be traveling abroad.
I might be voting you off Mand Island. Or
sure.
The Island. I don't know.
That's pretty good. I like it. Yeah.
I will muddle through.
I'll haunt your dreams.
Always.
But I will come back with an English accent. You know that, right?
It'll be that weird Madonna halfway. Yeah.
And even weirder because I'll claim I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That won't be annoying at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Was there anything else that you've been like watching or doing, or should we jump right into...
We're jumping right in.
Okay.
We're
she's on the clock today.
I am. And we've been at this a while.
Yes. Yeah, it feels like 4 years I've been doing this? Anyway, so this week we watched History of the World Part 2 on Hulu. The reboot, of the sort of rethinking of the Mel Brooks movie History of the World Part 1. And it was tricky territory because it was a big favorite of mine when I was a kid. And I think maybe yours as well. Yep. I watched it. I remember it was still, you must have been even really young because when I watched it, I was
wildly inappropriate, but I watched it over and over on Betamax.
Oh, you did? Okay. I only saw it a couple times, so I didn't have as fresh. My mom was a huge Mel Brooks fan, so I remember Blazing Saddles a little better. And she also loved Monty Python, but Mel Brooks was I remember the dinner mint guy. That's Mel Brooks, isn't it? Or is that Monty Python? That might be Monty Python.
I don't know what the dinner mint guy is.
The big fat guy who eats the mint and then he explodes. Maybe that's Monty Python. Okay, I messed him up. Anyway, I loved Mel Brooks anyway, but he was very Catskills, shticky, the shtetl. Yeah. So we watched it and I was like, I don't know about this. First episode in, wasn't quite sure. But then I have to say, it totally got me. Holding my side, laughing, got me. It got me. It's really, in my opinion, really well done.
So I am, as you know, a devoted podcaster. And I went back and watched History of the World Part 1 to prep myself so we would have comparison.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay. Do you mind doing the rest of the episode then? Because I'm just going to go get some coffee.
Yeah, go for it. So History of the World Part 1 holds up. It's funny, but man, is it inappropriate. Yeah. Man, would the Me Too movement not approve of this movie. Sure. And, Woody Allen got away with what he did in Manhattan and and marrying his daughter. But Mel Brooks was getting away with a lot of stuff.
Oh, it was all
in History of the World.
Boobies and yeah.
Yes. But he was, I don't know, late 40s when he made it. And these young women were 20. It was uncomfortable.
Gross.
But he was Mel Brooks. So we all forgave it and we laughed it off, which I still did. And I was still saying The Inquisition. What a show. There was great humor in History of the World Part 1.
Yes.
That got me geared up. I pressed play on History of the World Part 2 and I was instantly turned off.
Oh
and
my God.
That first episode is not great.
I agree.
There's promise. Mm-hmm. There are a couple of chuckles.
Yep.
The best one for me was Kunal Nanjiani doing the Karma Sutra.
Yep.
It was cute. But it felt slapdash. It felt rushed. It didn't feel like a fully realized vision. It was just, here are a couple of ideas that we all thought were funny. Throw them together, put it out.
Yep.
And I was disappointed and I didn't want to watch episode 2. But I did. And I'm glad I did.
Yep.
It found its rhythm. It found its footing. It made me laugh. Still, I can't say it's a great piece of art. but episode 2 was
And you
vastly
shouldn't.
improved. Right. Well, but so episode 1 was disappointing to me because, oh my God, that writer's room. Nick Kroll. It's a Nick Kroll production, but Nick Kroll, Mel Brooks, Wanda Sykes, Janelle James, Ike Barinholtz, who I think is
genius.
Absolutely hilarious.
He's so funny. Mm-hmm.
So how did they come up with that pilot stinker?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I think, look, I think a lot of pilots are stinkers, right?
I know. We had the same talk about Animal Control.
Yes. And I remember, and I always think about this. I loved the show Girls. I can't remember if you were a Girls fan or not.
No.
I loved that show. It was must-see TV for me. But I hated the pilot. And I almost did not continue. So many shows hated the pilot, almost didn't keep watching. And it's only Succession, another one. And it's only until other people are like, oh, this show, that I go back and I go, I must. Schitt's Creek is another one. I didn't watch it after the pilot. So some of my favorite shows, I haven't been able to get past the first one. And you go, how does that happen? What is it? But I think it's just part of the process. And interesting, because then I went, well, these are just sketches. Why would you put these sketches first? You know, because they're not the strongest, but then some of them build, and then you see recurring characters. They come back and they do another version of the story.
Right. Yeah. There's some through lines and threads. Yeah. One of the things that works so well in the movie history of the world is that the characters reappear. Right. Gregory Hines is so funny in that movie, and these characters pop back in, even though it makes no sense. It's nonsense to have somebody be a part of Greek and Roman times and then pop back in the Spanish Inquisition. But it makes you care. It gives you a through line.
Is it the same characters? Like, what does Gregory Hines play in the movie? I don't remember.
He is a Greco-Roman, a Greek slave or a Roman slave that the court jester rescues, and then he pops back up later.
I see.
You know,
it's silly.
It's so silly, but it does work. And I was grateful when episode 2 started and it was like, oh, okay, we're going to see these people again. That wasn't a one-off.
Yeah.
I just think that thinking it was a one-off, they should have made them funnier and better so that we would all be excited for episode 2 instead of rolling our eyes saying maybe episode 2 will be better.
I agree. And I maybe only watched episode 2 because of what happened with Animal Control. That I was like, you were like, oh, it gets so much stronger. And you realize the characters are so much more fleshed out. And, you know, and because I really wanted to like it and because I loved all the actors so much, you know, and there was something there that I thought, you know, I agree. I thought that, I don't remember which episode it's in, but is it in episode 2? Where Judas betrays Jesus in that episode? Okay. I thought
Curb Your Judaism.
Oh, God.
And they used the theme. Larry David gave them the theme song, I guess.
Yes. I thought that was like laugh out loud funny.
Yeah. I loved Nick Kroll in that as Judas. And then he's with J.B. Smoove as another apostle. And J.B. Smoove ruined it for me. He took it out. Every other word was motherfucker. And the concept of these two apostles sitting around bitching about Jesus and how annoying the Last Supper was. He barely served anything, one meatball. It was funny.
Yeah.
And Nick Kroll, his best line is, did Peter corner you about his one-man show? And they're annoyed by Peter, right?
It's so great.
And J.B. Smoove just responds, of course that motherfucker cornered me with his motherfucking moment. So it killed the comedy.
Yeah.
It was such a funny idea listening to the apostles bitch.
I took
Larry David. It was great.
Oh, yeah. I took that as they hired this guy to be like, isn't he always like that? Isn't that he was sort of just playing himself and he was adding. He probably just thought that was hilarious, and that's probably part of his comedy if he does stand up. You know, kind of like the Chris Rock thing.
I know I'm not culturally sophisticated enough to appreciate it, but it takes me out. I don't. Yeah, it actually ruined a very funny concept for me.
Yeah, I think You're right. I mean, I don't. It was not in context, and the whole thing is pretty sophisticated. It's just sophisticated. It's actually a very funny idea to watch play out, and it would have. The fact that the profanity doesn't bother me so much because I feel like he was just really doing his thing and his version of that, and he just happened to be the apostle who said motherfucker, which is kind of a funny idea that there would be a foul-mouthed apostle.
If he were funny, I would have allowed it. I didn't find it funny,
Yeah.
But
what if he had gone? What if he had doubled down on like every other word? Like, what if that was just was there something? Is there anything he could have done to make it funny? Is there a time when cursing is funny?
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? Like, is it when it's way too much of it, or?
I mean, I think when it's used well.
Yeah.
I curse. I'm not a person who can't handle cursing.
Yeah.
I wrote a sketch years and years ago when I was doing sketch, and I loved it. It was a foul-mouthed Disney princess.
Yeah.
So she always fucking sounded like this, you dirty bitch. And she sang and she was always talking like this, you goddamn motherfucker.
If you do not do this character for the entire podcast, the next time we do this, I'll be really mad.
And so in that context, the cursing was funny to me.
Yeah.
Because I wrote it. No, but had I seen that sketch with a Disney princess, had I seen it, I still would have thought that's funny.
Yeah. I think I thought it was funny that an apostle was saying it, but you're right. It was just throwing in the words, not even to characterize anything. It was just.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It didn't feel like a statement about that would be funny if this apostle spoke this way. It just felt like JB Smoove thinking, that's how I motherfucking am, so I'm going to motherfucking do it.
Yeah. What did you think of the Noah's Ark one? Did you watch the Noah's Ark one? Was that in episode 2 or 3?
I did not see a Noah's Ark one, so it must have been 3.
Oh, God. Seth Rogen.
Never heard of him.
Really talented, up-and-coming guy. Newcomer.
Oh, good. Oh, good for him.
Keep your eye out for that one. I love that they made the joke about him being stoned at the Oscars, by the way. Like whether he was on anything, that was hysterical to me. But he plays Noah, and all he did is his family, and they're on the ark, and all he did was bring puppies, different kinds of puppies. And they're like, oh my God, Noah, you were supposed to bring all the animals. And he's like, I know, but look at this one. And he's cuddling them, and he's like, I actually brought 3 pugs. It was just cute and funny. Yeah. And like, those people, it felt like, they're funny. They're just funny people. So even though, like, I didn't care as much for the, what's his name? The Shtetl guy. And then Pamela Adlon plays his wife. And he's the guy makes the mud pies. That Nick Kroll does that character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't
that was the first episode, right?
Yeah, and then they end up singing. But they do it through all I think there's one in every episode. They keep doing it. And
I don't remember.
It's cute. Like some of them are more successful than others. But on the whole, I'm like, mud pies, it's a little too weird and out there. Even when the comedy isn't like, and the crowd goes wild, like knocking it out of the park. It's still kind of like, I just got to hang out with Jake Johnson for a minute. Or,
that was my least favorite. The Kubla Khan sketch with Jake Johnson and Ronnie Chang. Ugh. Not funny. Didn't make sense.
No.
And then in the first episode, I have to get this off my chest as a musical theater lover.
Sure.
They ripped off Something Rotten so directly and unabashedly. Josh Gad played Shakespeare, and they're having a meeting, and somebody says, what if we put songs in it and make a musical? And he's like, a musical? You mean you're going to just have the actors start to sing? And it was like, how did they get away with that? And Josh Gad is a Broadway guy. How did he not say, hey, everybody, this has already been done to perfection? It was embarrassing.
Well,
that ticked me off.
I agree. I was so shocked at that. And I thought, well, are they knowingly, like, are they assuming that everyone who watches this will have watched Something Rotten and it's like this little winky nod to it? Or
I think it was, maybe no one knows Something Rotten. Let's just put that into a sketch.
It was crazy because it wasn't even remotely disguised. The whole idea of Shakespeare in the writer's room.
Right.
Now, was Josh Gad ever a part of Something Rotten? Was he?
No.
Oh. And then I have no idea what they were doing. That's crazy.
No. Isn't that weird?
Wouldn't it be crazy if a writer came into that room and was like, so I have this idea, and no one had seen something rotten. So they were like, oh, that's hilarious. And now, only now, they're like, motherfucker, why didn't you tell us? Like,
I can't fathom it would have gone all the way through the process. They just maybe felt it was an homage. And by the way, side note, I love when you squeak. Your voice just squeaked, and it's one of my favorite things in the world. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Have you ever done that? Have you ever told a story and thought you were telling a story that happened to you and then realized it happened to somebody else? Or come up with a funny joke idea and then realized, oh no, I heard that joke. That wasn't my idea. Have you ever done that?
I've certainly realized I was being influenced by something. Mm-hmm. But you know, no, I've never told the story of how when I was climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. No.
Well, you should tell that one because it's a good one. You nearly died.
It was harrowing.
Yeah.
Other highlights from episode 2 that I have to get off my chest.
Do it.
Because it really was a strong episode. Yeah. They brought back Curb Your Judaism and they go to Peter's one-man show. And Peter was played by Richard Kind. Drop the mic. He's always perfect.
So
I
good.
love Richard Kind.
Yes.
And that gives it a through line.
So
then
funny.
We care. We've heard about Peter. Now we're meeting Peter.
Yes.
And then they did a recurring sketch about Shirley Chisholm.
Yep.
The first Black congresswoman. And it was Wanda Sykes, and it was a sitcom called Shirley. And it looked just like the Jeffersons. Mm-hmm. Marla Gibbs was on it. She was so wonderful to see. And this is a sitcom I want to watch. And Pete, could you please play the phone call with President Nixon from 9 minutes and 30 seconds to 10 minutes and 6 seconds?
Hello, is this the White House? This is Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm, and I would like to speak with President Nixon, please. Oh, hello, Mr. President. I didn't realize that you answered your own phone. How very not paranoid of you, sir. Yes. Uh-huh. Tonight? 7:30? My place. Nothing too ethnic. Yes, I can do that. Thank you. Guess who's coming to dinner? Will you two stop playing around?
Tonally, this is right on. Right? Nixon says, don't serve anything too ethnic. It's just so funny. And Wanda Sykes should have her own sitcom. She should have several. She should be doing everything.
So funny, yeah.
I love her.
Yeah.
So more Shirley, more Curb Your Judaism, less cramming things like the Kubla Khan sketch. Just, well, we have Jake Johnson. He said he would do something. Let's,
Yeah.
Come up with really strong, funny concepts and give them to us on, in continued vignettes.
I wonder how, they don't know maybe that something's going to work or not work, right? That's what live stage comedy is all about. That's why they do a rehearsal of Saturday Night Live before the actual thing, is they cut a bunch of stuff because they thought it would work and made it to the dress rehearsal, but then it didn't. And, when we were seeing Murderville and the Annie Murphy episode was so terrible. And there was a part of us that went like, why even show that episode? Like, it really just was not good. And it doesn't make her look good. And it wasn't good for the show. And it makes you stop watching because you're like, ugh, you're not going to edit that stuff out. I wonder if there's a certain kind of like, well, we can't cut the Jake Johnson thing. We don't have any other sketches for that week, because to your point,
they ordered 8. Yeah. And we have a deadline.
Yeah.
But maybe this would be a stronger 4-episode project.
Oh, for sure.
We would get the best of the best and none of the rice.
Yes. Wow. Yeah, you're right. One of my favorite sketches, and I don't know which episode this was in, so maybe you didn't see it, but did you see the Alexander Graham Bell? Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Okay. Forgive me. Do you have the IMDb right there?
Mm-mm.
You don't have it up?
Can.
Okay, bring it up. Louise, could we get our research department to pull up the I think it's probably the 3rd episode of She's Stalling, folks. Da 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 da.
It's going to be tough to get the actor name. You're looking for the actor name because there's 900 actors, but I will try.
It's the guy. He was on Veep. That wonderful Black comedian who, oh God.
Sam Richardson?
maybe that might be his name. I don't remember. Maybe it could be him. Could be him.
From After Party?
Yes. Is it Sam Richardson? Thank
Yeah.
you for finally putting a name to the face. I love that actor. He does a scene where Alexander Graham Bell has just created the telephone and he's demonstrating it for all the white men who gave him the money and the resources to create the telephone. And he's marveling at this telephone. And his partner or secretary, I don't know, he's in another room, is Sam Richardson. And he crank calls Alexander Graham Bell. And so the phone starts ringing and he's like, well, this is unheard of. And he picks it up and he doesn't, quote unquote, like he doesn't know that it's his secretary crank calling him. And it's so funny. And he keeps looking in the doorway to like, it's just a really funny bit. It's clever. Right. Like the idea that Alexander Graham Bell would get crank called and they handle it. It's such a stupid, it's a stupid joke. I'm sorry.
That's Mel Brooks.
I didn't mean to point
Mel
at
Brooks
you.
Classic.
But you kind of like you like the...
I do.
Yes. And it was a very dumb idea, but they handled it. It was so giddy, 14-year-old boy, dumb. He's literally like making mama voice. This is your mama. Like, it's really, really funny.
No, I mean, I'll watch more because there are some laughs. And Jay Ellis is the hottest thing I've seen in a long time as Jesus. So I'm not only going to watch more to see him, but I'm going to convert.
Thank you. Great. Christmas is going to be so much
hot.
easier. Great.
But when they have those Mel Brooks moments, like what if Alexander Graham Bell gets crank called? That feels like a Mel Brooks invention to me. The blower in the bathroom with Jesus and and it's a guy who blows on your hands.
So funny.
I mean, that's Mel Brooks. That's when he's perfect.
Yes.
So and I will watch more.
Yeah. And I think it's a little bit like that. You don't have to sit and study it. It's just, it's just, if you need a good laugh, if you just need to chuckle, there's going to be things that fall flat, like a Saturday Night Live sketch might. But there are things that are so fun. And one of the things I really appreciate about this whole idea is this, taking, I mean, I think maybe I learned a lot of history from the first iteration of this, There's things where it kind of makes you curious about like, what was that period of time? How interesting,
right?
It's how I get my history education.
Perfect.
And that may be limited, but it's a lot of fun. So so how many man jobs would you give it?
I would give it 3, maybe 3.25 because of the star power and the laughs. But I want more from it. So I'd like that to remain fluid. If I watch more, I might go up or down.
Yeah, I'm going to give it 4 because of nostalgia and because the times it made me laugh, it made me really, really laugh. Like really chuckle. And that's always good because there's just so much, because then you got to go and you got to watch The Whale, which is, not a comedy. There's no fish in it. And Darren Aronofsky's a genius, but like, it's dark out there. It's dark. And then there was the Western Front. Was very dark. I mean, I would rather see the Eastern Front, quite frankly.
Okay.
Feels like it might be a lighter tone.
Where the sun rises instead of the sun setting. I got it.
You know what I'm saying? A little bit lighter. And I do want to also let you know that I'm going to write a movie called Women Still Talking. But they're going to be talking about funny things now. Lighten it up. We all need to laugh a little. So that's why I would give it 4 man jobs.
You're already doing the weird British accent, even though you haven't gone yet.
Am I? I wasn't even aware.
Right. We're screwed.
Yeah, we are. All right, well, we're going to tell people about our beautiful show, guys. Mandcave is a production of True Story FM, music by Ian Post, and engineering by Pete Wright. Thank you so much, guys. And listen, you've heard it before, but we love to be liked. So if you could go to the Apple Podcast app and give us a rating or a nice little review, like think about it as giving us a nice shoulder massage or a little tickle. If that helps. I don't know if it actually does help. Maybe if you're not the tickling type, but a handshake.
This is going off the rails, right?
I don't
The
know.
tickling and the handshaking.
Well, maybe hashtag a little me too, but if it'll get us a review on our podcast, I think that's great,
Well, Linus left us a review. The two Mandys are smart, funny, and informed.
See,
Thank
there
you,
you go.
Linus.
Thank you. We are smarter than we look. Yes, thank you.
And we also love to hear from you. If you go to mandcave.com/Discord, you can join us on Discord in a public channel where we chat and post funny shit. Or you can join us on our private members only channel, which is for Fandys only. What is a Fandy, you ask? I'm glad you asked.
Oh, yeah.
Please go to mandcave.com/Fandy. $5 a month gets you bonus episodes and more access to us. And we do, we record for a few minutes before we do our official show. So you're going to get pre-shows every week, exclusive content.
Social security
It's
numbers,
a lot of fun.
our home address. Yep. Yes, yeah. And then also
Texting.
And if you want to dress like us, which, I mean, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? I personally like to sport the homeless chic look. You can go to mandcave.com/merch, and we have t-shirts and sweatshirts, and we've got travel mugs, and probably even what are those little things? Those track pads, the mouse pads.
Mouse
we got
pads.
everything
Yeah,
you
we
want.
do.
So thanks for joining us and supporting us, and we love you. All right. Well,
Do you have a quick game?
are we? Oh, yeah, sure. Yes, very quick.
Okay.
We're under a time crunch today, guys.
Yes, I apologize.
No, problem. All right.
My fault.
It's going to be so much fun. All right.
Good.
So here's the thing. History of the World Part 2 made me think about games and the history of games. So there are certain party games that are real, and some may not be on this list. And it is your job to tell me which ones are real and which ones are not. And then also, if you can wager a guess at what they might have been.
Okay.
If now,
Are these old-timey games?
Old-timey party games before we had, taboo or cell phones. This is the real. And some of these I think you might want to adopt. So one of the games is called Bullet Pudding, where there's just a big pile of flour in the middle of a table, and somebody puts a bullet at the top of it. And the goal is you have to try to get the bullet out without it dropping into the pile of flour. And if it drops into the pile of flour, you then have to go in with your face and retrieve it, put the bullet in your teeth, and then your face is all white and everyone laughs and it's hysterical. It's a great party game.
Okay.
What do you think?
Oh, is that real or is that fake?
Yes.
That's
Did
what
I
you're
make
asking
that
me?
up or is it real?
Bullet Pudding is a fantastic name.
Yes.
That came from the brain of Mandy Fabian.
Incorrect. That is an actual party game.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
But it would make a great name for our band. I think we should consider it, especially in the South. That'll play great in the South. It's two of their favorite things. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Next, here we go. Puss in Petticoat. So, the ladies' skirts that have the hoops.
Yeah.
They would try to capture the house pet, usually a cat, and go ahead and just lift up their little skirts and then trap the house cat for as long as they could stand it.
I know that's you because of the name.
I
love it, and I'll play it anytime.
Thank you. See, I mean, this whole thing is really to get us to, give us things to do the next time we get together.
Things to do. Yes.
All right.
We're always running out of things to do.
Yes, we are. Okay. This one's fantastic. Cats and Dogs. Great title, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is, so you hide cards all over the house. And then there's a captain of each cat, Captain Cat and Captain Dog. And as the players go and find the cards, they have to either meow or bark to get the captain to come over and collect the cards. Isn't that just a hoot? It's a laugh
I'm going to say
riot.
that was inspired by your children, and it is false.
It is true.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Fabian special.
I feel like it's one of those games. Nope, it's true. I think it's one of those games that might surprise you of how fun it is. Like when someone says, we're going to do that. That's stupid. I have a thing. But then when you do it, you're meowing and barking And who knows? You know,
Who knows?
dogs,
Right?
Who knows what could happen? All right.
Oh, God.
Here's another one.
Mhm.
So, carriage me home,
Mhm.
which was people would dress up like with the bit and the bridle and the thing and the saddle, and they would ride one another and do little races. And it later turned into that sexy thing that the sexy thing where people dress up like horses and they do it to titillate themselves.
That's a sexy thing?
Yeah. Apparently, there are people that dress up like horses. This is a real thing. You
Okay.
can Google that.
Well, I'm going to say that was real.
Okay. No, I made that up. But
Oh.
the sexy part is true. Okay. There was never a game like that back in the
terrible
party.
at this game.
No, listen, they're all so interesting and fun, these games.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Here's another one. Ladles and ladies. So this is when all the men in the party would try to feed the women they had to feed the women with ladles. And it was like part party game and then part diet plan.
I'm going to say it's true.
That's me.
Oh, God.
But I
I'm terrible. I love it.
But I think that's a great game. I mean, we should definitely, just for my purposes, because when you make something good, I'm usually a 2-portion kind of gal. I think a ladle would be a nice way to. In fact, I think we should brand
limit
the
our
ladle,
intake.
the ladle diet. I feel like we could have a whole Instagram thing. So, okay.
Yes.
This will be the last one. Okay. These were hobo parties. I think that's what they were called, hobo parties, where people would come, guests would come, dress up like homeless people, have to jump on crates around in a circle as if they're jumping on boxcars because that's where they're sleeping.
Oh,
And then for the food of the party, they actually had to go door to door begging for food. Hobo
True.
parties. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
Oh, that, and look how that the mood just turned, right?
That's they really did that.
Yeah.
And I would do that because
Mandy,
Yeah.
I hate to be the PC police here, but it's people experiencing hobo-ness.
Right. Thank you.
That's how
I
you
get that
refer to it.
wrong every time. You know, I've always thought I'd make a great unhoused person because I think I would crush it in the begging arena. I think there would be songs, like I'd use my kids. I think it would be pretty nice. And maybe not as fun as I think. That might be one of those things that you like being an actor. You think it's going to be more fun than it actually is, all the rejection and stuff. I'm just saying, all kinds of possibilities. So those are the
hobo party.
You're welcome to use those anytime you have a party in the future. Those are the games of the history games. There you go.
I appreciate it. I learned.
Yeah, good.
And I'm a better person for it.
And bullet pudding, you have everything you need to play that game in your house right now. You don't have to go buy anything.
Well, I'd have to use a tampon instead of a bullet, but yeah.
Sure, that's the same
I
difference.
don't have a bullet. Or a Nerf bullet. I have a Nerf bullet.
Either one strikes fear in the hearts of men. So
that was a fantastic joke.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
So I'm not assigning you anything except enjoy the hell out of your international fame.
Thank you.
When Just Plus None premieres at the BFI Film Festival in London.
Thank you.
And I will have a guest host who I know and I'm excited about, but I'm going to keep it under wraps for now.
I like it. A little secret, keeping a secret game.
Yeah.
It's very tittillating. Have a wonderful time. And
My life will be empty and cold, but thank you. I'll try.
And we will all see you on the Eastern Front, on the other side of the Eastern Front. I'm sorry. I tried to do a call.
Let's go back to fear in the hearts of men.
Yeah. The bullet tampon thing, guys. Waka waka. I love you.
Love you.